Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a delightful day, and I am so stoked to sit down and chat with you guys about some makeup favorites today. These are some of my favorite videos to do. All the good stuff. I just love it. So I did do a video like this, I think last month, talking about 20 favorites from 20 different drugstore brands. I actually had more than 20 favorites in that video because with several brands, I could not narrow it down to just one item, and that's kind of the same with this video today. I chose 15 more brands. These are high-end and indie brands, and I tried to narrow down my favorite. Some of these I just couldn't, you guys, and I'm like, okay, if something is literally neck and neck for me, why torture myself and pick one? So I will be sharing both favorites in those cases with those brands. Today I am drinking a boba milk tea without the bubbles, without the bobas. So last time we were at Costco, I saw this little set that came with the packets to make the milk tea, straws, and the tapioca pearls. I have to tell you, the tapioca pearls are really disgusting in this particular set. They're like super grainy. But the actual milk teas, really good. Usually when I order milk tea at an actual store, I ask for something like 30% sugar because the milk teas are so incredibly sweet. Obviously, I didn't have the chance or a way to do that with these little packets. I'm drinking the Tara one today, and there's a lot of sugar in it, and it's really good. It's like difficult to refrain from just sucking it down in one big long gulp. Have you guys tried any other set like that where the tapioca pearls are actually good? Let me know if like something available to buy on Amazon or something, because I love having that available to make at home. So yummy. All right, let us begin. I'm gonna go with an alphabetical order again of the brands that I chose. I tried really hard to pick brands where I had tried several items from the brand. There's very few brands where I have tried all of their lineup, but I did try and stay away from brands where I've only tried one or two things. Oh, it's thundering outside. I did not know it was supposed to rain today. Ooh, that'd be fun, some extra fun background noise into this video. Okay, so starting alphabetically with Anastasia Beverly Hills. So pretty much the only thing I'm interested in from this brand are the eyeshadow palettes, and I hemmed and hawed about whether I should stick with things that are still available or with my true favorite. So if we're gonna go with still available, my favorite would be Sultry, and I guess this actually still isn't available. I kind of only bring this back around the holidays. It's like a limited edition palette that comes and goes, but it is a beautiful, absolutely beauteous, cool toned, mostly cool toned, neutral palette. The shimmers in here are super high impact, and the tones of the mattes are very good. I feel like with the exception of the shade Bloom over here. I know some people really love that shade. On me, I cannot get it to look good, but the rest of the palette I really enjoy. But if we're going for my all-time favorite from ABH, you guys know what it is. It's gotta be this palette. I don't want to talk too long about this because you can't get it anymore, and it seems extremely unlikely that they will ever bring it back, considering that Mario now has his own makeup brand. But wouldn't it be cool if they still did another collaboration and brought this back? I think everyone would buy it like crazy. Like, it would be such a good business decision. I mean, why aren't they doing this? So part of the reason, or I should say the reasons why this palette is so good, first of all, the color story. It is a palette that most people can work with. It doesn't have any wild and crazy colors in it, but it's also not boring. It's got a nice navy blue up here, a really fun grungy green. And this shade Marina is the most beautiful, like shimmery taupey pink. It's so lovely. But part of the reason why this palette is so great are these three mattes right here. The cool one, a warm one, and a deepening shade. And it works with all these shimmers, and they just work with literally anything on the eye. And the formula, I feel like, is way better than any other Anastasia palette I've tried. I don't know why this formula is so much better than all their other palettes. I never have issues blending the mattes in this one, which I do sometimes with some of the other ABH palettes. And a lot of the other shimmers, like even in the Sultry palette, which I do love, the shimmers in that one though can be a bit more chunky to get that high impact look. These are very smooth. Some are more satin. And then of course we got the metallic shimmer here. Oh my goodness. It is thundering like crazy. Here comes the rain. Super fun. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about this palette because I can't get it anymore, but this was my favorite. All right, let's talk about the Balm. So my favorite product that I've tried from them, I used I don't know, I was about to say I used them up, but I realized I didn't actually finish my last one of these. It went bad on me and I had to throw it out. It was so sad. But I love their creamy lip stains. These lip stains were around way before lip stains have been, you know, super popular now again. And the formula of these is just fantastic. It's really thin, but highly pigmented, and they wear beautifully. Oh, they're so, so nice. My favorite shade, I think, is the shade Salute. It's kind of like the shade I'm wearing today, actually. It's kind of like a Your Lips But Better, slightly cool tone shade. But I also really love the shade Konichiwa, which is more peachy. Those are on my list to repurchase. I think they're really good. Okay, let's talk about my favorite product from Glossier. That would be the Stretch Concealer. So why this is so good? For one thing, it will last you an eternity. I use this regularly on a weekly basis. Even though I am panning other things, I still reach for this quite often because I love it so much. So I use the shade G11. Now, I know a lot of people really like a high pigment concealer, and this can get a lot of hate just because it's not supposed to be high pigment. It is from a no makeup brand, but I actually think it has way more pigment than you would expect. When I first got it, because I considered it to be practically sheer from the reviews I'd heard about it, I actually used way too much. I went in there with the brush and swirled around, and that's way too much. Just a little bit of this, a little bit on your finger goes a long way. And when you do use your fingers, it melts in beautifully under your eye. And it does stretch really far. I think the Stretch Concealer is a great name for it because it will blend out beautifully in a super thin layer. It's a very emollient product, so if you get too much of it, it will be super creasy. And since it is so emollient, I do usually tend to set it with just a little bit of powder, even if I'm not using much. Because it is such a hydrating, beautiful, creamy formula, a lot of people like to use this one as foundation as well. And even using it as foundation, I have heard that it's like practically impossible to finish. I mean, I have a dent in mine. You probably can't really see it, but I have been using mine, like I say, consistently for the past more than a year, and it looks like I have not touched it much. If you're after something just to correct that kind of weird line you can get from like your under eye skin to your cheek skin, you know what I'm talking about, like that just like obvious line right there. You're not really looking to cover a lot of darkness, you're just looking for something to even your skin tone a bit, and you like using something like this all over your face just to kind of color correct wherever. I think this is such a beautiful product. However, if you really want something that will not crease, I don't think this is the answer for you because it is pretty emollient and it does require powder. Okay, let's talk about Ilia. My favorite product that I tried from Ilia is the lengthening mascara. I do have a backup, but I do not want to open it yet. I have another lengthening mascara open and I want to save that so I can really savor it and not waste any of the product. So it is, I think, the best lengthening mascara I have ever used. It is absolutely wild how long my lashes look when using that mascara. The only thing with that one is that it's nowhere near smudge proof. It does okay as long as you don't get any sort of moisture around your eyes. If you have like wet, drippy, sweaty eyes, it will smudge on you. But if you're not concerned about that, you like the idea of using a clean brand mascara, I think that the lengthening one from Ilia, it's exceptional. Okay, Kaja. So I love the little beauty bento box trios from them, and I actually have mine depotted. I have them in this big magnetic palette, and my favorite trio from them is this this trio down here. This is the Orange Blossom Trio. If you have never tried these shimmers from Kaja, they really are special because the shimmer particles are so small. It does that wet looking look on your eyelid that it's popular for a reason. It's just really, really brightening and beautiful. And if you happen to have green or blue eyes, this center shade, it is like the shade of the trio. I think it's my favorite. Like, I can't use the trio without using that shade all over my lid. Again, it's just very flattering shimmer. I think they're just beautiful. Okay, let's talk about Kaleidos. This is one of those brands where I was like, what am I gonna do? I enjoy this brand so much. Let's mention something first that's discontinued. The product that I'm wearing on my lips today. So this is the Lip Tonic in the shade Immersion. It is a beautiful Your Lips But Better, slightly cool toned liquid lipstick, except it's more like a lip stain. It's really, really thin. And I know they still have this formula, I think, in red. The formula is beautiful, really nice and comfortable, even though it sets down and it's mostly transfer proof. I wouldn't say it's like the most transfer proof thing in the world, but it does fairly well. And you want something that's red, I think it might be worth trying. I think the formula is really, really good. I just wish they would bring back their kind of more nudie shades like this, because I would love to be able to recommend this more often. Now for something that is still available from them, I think I had to go with this one. It was such an interesting choice for me. Like, I was looking at all my Kaleidos palettes and I kept being drawn to this one. So this is the Futurism 5, the Electro Turquoise, and this is so not something that I would usually buy. This was actually gifted to me from a friend, and I'm just so thankful. You can see I've actually used this one. This one I've used a lot as an eyeliner. This wasn't like a project where I was using it as a liner, why there's a little pan in there. But even like some of these shimmers, I've got little dips going in, and this has got to be probably my favorite summer palette to use. And I never ever would have considered putting turquoise with orange before, but there's something about this that whenever I use it, it's just a joyful color story, and that's kind of how the look always turns out. It's always super fun and bright, but it really is beautiful. And these particular, like, they have different kinds of shimmers from Kaleidos. This one is more of the wet looking shimmery type kind instead of like the ultra metallic. And it is, look at that. It's like that, again, the wet texture. So beautiful. In some of their other palettes though, they have like the ultra metallic shades that are also super fun to play with. I love Kaleidos palettes because of the theming. I mean, obviously the quality is really good with the eyeshadows, but the theming gets me. I'm such a sucker for like these sci-fi themed palettes, and I would love it if they came out with more of these little 6 pans. Count real quick. Yeah, 6 pans. I think they're great. Okay, my favorite product from Kosas is one that I have since used up and I have not repurchased it yet. It is one of their lip oils, but specifically the shade Jellyfish. So lip oils, it seems like there's like several different categories of lip oil. The one from Kosas is not the super thin, slippy, kind of run off your lips type lip oil. I'm not a fan of that kind of lip oil. The one from them, it's more like a gel, and it's got a bit more substance to it, and it really does feel like a lip treatment. It's beautiful. And I am panning another one from them right now, this pink one in the shade Malibu. And while the formula is nice, there's something about the clear one in the shade Jellyfish that is absolutely exceptional, and if I ever repurchase one of these, it will be that one. Okay, MAC. Okay, this is a brand where I was like, okay, there's so much to try, first of all, that I haven't tried, but I have actually tried quite a few things from them, and it's hard to imagine another product from them beating the formula of their Glow Play blushes. So I have the shade So Natural, and of course my lid's broken. So it's a soft, squishy formula, kind of like a ColourPop Super Shock, but I do think that this is a bit more elevated. This one has not dried out on me like the Super Shock blushes do. Ooh, there's the thunder again. But it's very blurring on the cheeks. There's something about it, it's almost like a cream to powder that blurs, and it's very flattering. And like the name suggests, this is just a very natural blush that for some reason whenever I wear it, I'm just like in love with it all over again. Since it is matte and since it does have like that cream to powder blurring quality, it's gonna look amazing over your pores. There's gonna be nothing enunciated that you don't want enunciated. Enunciated is the wrong word. Exaggerated. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, let's talk about Merit. Now, Merit is a brand where I have tried the entire line because they send me PR, which again, I can't believe I'm saying that. That is such a wild thing to say, but I have found I really enjoy the brand. I'm actually wearing their foundation today. I think it looks really nice on camera. You guys know that I love their highlighting balm. I'm currently panning that. I could wear that every day and be happy. And their blushes are beautiful. Like, it's just a really nice line. But I think that today, anyway, I need to go with their lipstick. So I only have one shade at the moment. I have the shade Slip, which is the light neutral shade. And I know this is like going viral, super popular, and it's just so popular because it's sheer, but it's not a super balmy formula that might go outside your lip lines and get messy. It's an extremely comfortable satin, and it's very buildable. You can put on a super sheer swipe, and when you build it up, it doesn't look thick on your lips like many lipsticks will if you try to put on more than one swipe. And the colors, just from swatching them, I did swatch several of them in store. I have a wish list of these lipsticks. The colors are just really on point. They're really, really beautiful. And the packaging is super fun as well, which for some reason with lipstick, that does kind of matter to me. I enjoy a pretty lipstick. Okay, Nabla. This is one of those brands where I was like, I don't know if I can possibly decide between these two products. So I'm gonna mention both of them. One is this highlighter. So this is their skin glazing in the shade Ozone. This is so nice that I am tempted so much by their blushes and bronzers in this same formula. I just don't know if I want them to be super, like, I don't know how glowy they are. I keep hearing they're glowy and I haven't really swatched them in store to see. All I know is this formula, first of all, it's like a baked gelée formula and it's so thin. It's one of the best things about it. It's very, very thin and it creates, I keep saying this, but it's like a wet look. Oh, the way it blends into your skin, there's nothing, it's just not gonna highlight anything bad. Oh, look it. Oh, it's just really, really beautiful. They just do a great job with their powder products. And so I need to mention also one of their single eyeshadows, or I should just say their single eyeshadows in general. So I have a couple of them here. These ones. So these are in there, because they have a few different formulas. Oh, does it say now? Because I can't remember. Of course it doesn't. They have a few different formulas, and I'll make sure to link. Oh, it's the Bright, I think. The Bright formula? Okay, I'm just gonna link to the right one. But I love it because it is so thin, but the way it lays on the lid makes it look like a nice, soft cream eyeshadow. And that's gonna be a theme kind of with some of these other brands I'm talking about too. That was the shade Entropy. Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's not the most high intense metallic shade. It like doesn't have any special sparkly shimmer or anything. It's just the way it lays on your lid, and it's that perfect taupe that's a gorgeous everyday shade. I'll swatch this other one for you too. This is the shade Chemical Bond, which these are both like taupey shades. You can see Chemical Bond is, I would say, more cool toned than Entropy. But that leads me right into another favorite brand that has an extremely similar, if not exactly the same, eyeshadow formula, and that is from NARS. Now, I've never actually tried their palettes. I've just tried their singles, and this shade Entropy, I actually found that to be a perfect dupe for a NARS shade that I love. So that's Entropy, and this is the shade Cashmere from NARS. So I know, like, when I turn my wrist, the light is hitting them differently, so they look like different shades, but I'm telling you, it is impossible to tell the difference on the eye, and they have the same glorious, thin, cream-like texture. By cream-like texture, I mean when it's laying on your lid. I mean, they are powders, but when you get them onto the lid, look like creams. I have found that one thing I cannot tolerate now in an eyeshadow formula is something that makes my eyes look dry and crepey. I just hate it now that I have found that there are formulas out there that don't do that. So that's one thing I love from NARS, but NARS was another brand where I'm like, I have to mention more than one thing. I just have to. So the other favorite for me from NARS is this lipstick in the shade Dolce Vita. Now you guys know I love, love, love. Uh-oh, it looks like I broke my lipstick, like at the bottom in here. It almost fell out when I took the lid off. Just very, very carefully swatch it here. But you guys know how much I love a sheer lipstick in this shade Dolce Vita. I don't know if there is a more perfect, for me, my lips but better shade. Now, in comparison to the one from Merit, it is more of a balmy formula, but again, it's really, really thin. So you continue to build it up and build it up and build it up, and it won't ever look thick or heavy or cakey. Such a bummer that I broke that lipstick, but that's okay. I'm gonna be careful with it. I'm gonna continue using it. Stop for a little tea break. Okay, so Phytosurgence. Phytosurgence is another brand where I have tried, I think, all of their makeup products. Like, they have a whole range of skincare I haven't tried, but I've tried their blushes, their highlight, and their eyeshadows. I think my favorite makeup item from them is their eyeshadows. So I don't have necessarily a favorite shade yet. I really enjoy their tones though. I have a couple different shades here I want to show you from the Weathered Woods collection. First of all, this is the shade Magnetic Maple, and out of all their shades, this one is the one that's the most metallic. They don't normally do metallic shades. They tend to stick to more satin shades. I didn't get any on my finger apparently. And the formula is more of a hard cream, so they're very easy to work with in terms of not getting too much product on your lid. You can use your fingers, you can use a brush, and they're very long wearing, which is great if you're someone like me, if you have oily lids or hooded lids and things just tend to crease on you, so you stay away from cream eyeshadows. I would suggest giving these from Phytosurgence a try. Another shade I want to show you is the shade Pewtered Pine. It's a beautiful cool tone shade with a little bit of violet. It's very, very lovely. But all the shades from Phytosurgence are very good one and done shades. I don't think you can go wrong choosing an eyeshadow from them. From Rare Beauty, I have to mention their Gloss Balm. Oh, and it doesn't actually say what the full name is, but this is like their balmy gloss. I have the shade Nearly Apricot, and this is the type of formula that I prefer when it comes to lip glosses, where it's much more of a lip treatment. It's kind of sheer. Formulas are often gel-like, so they're not sticky, and they just create the most beautiful, slight little wash of color on your lips. Yeah, I think this is so, so pretty. Okay, so we are to the letter S. Sydney Grace. What am I gonna do for my favorites? So I just have to mention a formula. Their pressed pigment formula is truly outstanding. And I am wearing a Sydney Grace pressed pigment formula on my lids today. The one that I'm wearing is from the Tiny Marvels palette, and I'm wearing this shade over here called Scarab, but in a very light wash of color. So again, like there's very much a theme here with the type of eyeshadow formulas that I enjoy. So the Sydney Grace formula, when you first swatch it, it's very easy to get too much and it can seem like kind of a thick, flaky formula. The thing is, it's very pigmented, you don't need very much. And the way that I like to wear it, and I'm really hoping it comes through on camera, is that again, when you wear it, blend it out. It can lay on a very, very thin layer on your eye in such a way where it looks luminous, like a cream shadow. So I'm gonna give you a full-on swatch of Scarab so you can see like that it's a super, super pigmented shadow. Oh, look at it. It's so pretty. So you can layer it up on your eye to look like that, but I, like I said, love to wear a light, creamy layer, and I love how you have the versatility of that with Sydney Grace shadows. I just can't stop looking at that. Oh, the beautiful red base with kind of that green flash. It is just lovely. Because of that, I feel like their formula will work for a lot of people. If you're like me and you prefer something that's not too flashy for the most part on your lid, or if you like to really build up your shadows for extra shine and metallicness and awesomeness, you can do that too. And honestly, with the Sydney Grace, it doesn't require much building up. Just a little swirl of your finger and patting on your lid and you've got a beautiful, intense look. I don't think I can recommend the Sydney Grace pressed pigment formula enough. They have a huge array of singles on their website. If you are very particular about your shades, I highly recommend choosing singles. All right, to the letter T. Last brand I'm going to talk about today, Tower 28. How can I pick a favorite? I really enjoy this brand. I love the blush. So this is the Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. I don't know if I could talk about this very much. I feel like people have been raving about these for a couple of years. I really particularly love this shade Magic Hour because it's actually kind of neutral for my skin tone. It works well with almost any look that I do. And this is one of the blushes I'll reach for when I don't know what shade of blush I should wear. And it also wears a long time and it's very pigmented. This little compact, it will probably go bad on you before you can finish it. It is just fantastic. It's not sticky on your cheeks, it melts right in, and it's not too glowy of a blush. It's gonna have some glowiness to it being a cream blush like this, but nothing super intense. But my other favorite from the brand is their lip jellies. Now I have one of the cream ones. I have the shade Cashew, which I really enjoy, but I think that my favorite from the brand are actually the originals, the ones that look like grape and strawberry jelly. They're just so vibrant looking and beautiful, but they're also very, very sheer on the lips and they create the most beautiful popsicle wash of color. So the thing I like about these is that they are not only beautiful, shiny, glossy lips like I like, but they again have that lip treatment feel. I've actually used them overnight before to treat really dry lips and I woke up with nice hydrated lips. It was great. So these are good for your lips. They're not gonna dry them out. And that's kind of the whole Tower 28's thing, is makeup for sensitive skin. Now I've heard some people describe these as being a thick, gloopy gloss and I was like, what? I don't think that is the case at all. But you know, everyone has their own opinions on what makes a good gloss. I personally really like something with a little bit more to it than just like a thin lip oil. Like this is not a lip oil. It does have a little bit of substance to it, but again, it's a lip jelly, kind of a gel formula that doesn't involve stickiness. So whether you prefer a cream formula like this or more of like the sheer wash of color formulas that they have in their original colors, I think they're worth checking out, and they are probably the most inexpensive brand at Sephora. But if you don't want to shop at Sephora, you can also buy them at Credo and of course on their own website. Tower 28 is one of those brands that I'm always interested when they drop anything new. I saw that they just dropped some eye pencils. Well, not just eye pencils, they're supposed to be like eye, lip, and cheek pencils. And I'm like, oh, I don't really need any more pencils at the moment. So I didn't jump on it, but literally anytime they drop something, I'm like, they're looking. I'm like, yes, I'm here. What do you have? All right, I see I've been filming for 36 minutes, which is a long time for me. I've rambled on for a long time today. If you stayed to the end of the video, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love these chatty makeup videos. If you have favorites from any of these brands, please drop them down below. There are so many products I have not tried from these brands, and I like to know what the all-stars are for people. Like, what's the best things to try? So definitely let us all know down in the comments. Thank you so much again for being here today, and I will see you again very soon in the next one. Bye, guys.